So here comes a short second video. And just to allay any fears, you look at these bees, yeah? They're non-aggressive. And the reason being is because no one's been molesting them. It's only when pigs, wild pigs, hunters, all sorts of dogs and whatever roaming the land irritate them by continual visits. And that can include me. And this was one of my favourite hives here. This one I saved. I mean, the amount of resources I had to steal from other hives to keep that one alive. But literally, I mean, I know everything about these queens and these hives. I mean, that one over there is producing, on the far right, is producing a new queen. The one in the centre is it's just been split, and I've taken some resources from it. So this one's a recovering hive, and this has a very good queen in it now. This is a dead hive. This is an empty hive on the right here. This one was another split, and it's producing a new queen. And I know where the original queen has gone to since. Here's a very good hive, and these two hives here are actually growing gradually, but they don't have any problems. And this is one of my experimental hives because I'm using plastic frames instead of traditional wooden frames in here. And this is a big hive. This is a 14 framer. And this is a typical example of robbing bees. Look at that. Robbing bees. They're trying to find a way in other than through the main door. And that's the problem I've had here with these bees during the summer, is that any hive that's small is an invitation for robbing bees to go in there and just basically bomb it out. And that's what they do. They've bombed out about 4 of my hives, but I'm clever because I know how to save them and swap things around. And the thing you've got to understand about bees is that it's your own bees that are stealing from one hive and they're putting the resources into another hive. So I'm not really losing out. And bees don't really live that long, you know, maybe a few weeks in the summer. So I'm not really losing that many bees. And that's the way to look at it. So I've been watering now twice a day. I've just eaten the nectarines off that tree because they were getting a bit old. And this is really coming on. Got the sun there. But just to give you an example. And all the melons are coming into flower. And that was the idea. Before I only had about 8-10 plants, and they just couldn't get going enough, producing enough flower so that they can be pollinated. But now I've got about 50 melon plants in here, and there's no excuse for the flowers not being pollinated. So I've got my first tomatoes coming through. So when you come, actually, some of these tomatoes will be ready. And here's a big variety of tomato. So that's going to be like a beef tomato, that one now. Really, you know, look at that. I've got loads of greens, and the corn on the cob is coming up, and that's all collected, saved seed. I'm not sure what these are, but I think this is Natalie's heritage seed. What they call them now? Not parsnips. Navi, I think in French, Navi. And I've got a load of those growing everywhere. I've put them all over the place. They're quite drought resistant. But underneath that is one of your heritage seed calabashes. So that was the only one that survived. So I'm hoping that's going to produce, and that's got flower in it also. And those parsleys as well. I mean, I've planted them all over the place. So I'm going to have a couple of varieties of parsley here. And remember, parsley is like a drought-resistant plant, so it's just basically going to self-seed everywhere. And that's one that's self-seeded from last year. And I will never have to sow parsley seeds again. So there we are. Tomatoes. And they will grow quite well. I mean, it's like, if I can water twice, that's the thing about having a system ready and built, is that the irrigation will be almost on continually, and this will be the hanging gardens of Babylon. Really, it's just water you need, and that's the main ingredient for even in poor soils. As long as those soils are established, they are balanced. And it's look at this. This is really going for it, And there's a good sign. You see, there's a tomato. There's a not a fruit. There's a flower under there, and only now it's producing flowers at this particular size. So that means that they're going to be very big fruits. Whereas some of these tiny little plants, like here, for instance, is already producing flower. So whatever that produces in terms of quantity is not going to be a lot. But let's just have them for pollination. And these tomatoes are really going away with it. And this sort of stuff is broccoli and some cauliflower. I've been eating some of this cabbage, and the chickens are enjoying it. And there's quite a lot of ornamental stuff here as well. So overall, quite exciting.